Hello everyone. Today we're at Heights Antiques on Yale, taking a closer look at Baker's Barware, one of my favorite booths for vintage entertaining essentials. Whether you're looking for colorful glassware, a statement ice bucket, or unique finds to elevate your gatherings, they have lots of inspiration here. First, we will have a look at their two glass display cases downstairs here at Heights Antiques on Yale. And then we will venture upstairs to their big booth full of some great finds. You probably remember this case from previous visits to this antique mall, and always something wonderful to discover. You will notice a lot of patriotic finds. With America's semi-quincentennial, 250 years is something we can celebrate all year. These stars and stripes glasses are from Williams-Sonoma. At $40, that's about half the price of the original retail. The eagle inspiration here with a federal look. These are from the Libby Glass Company. Priced at $60 for the set. I like that they have the design on both sides. This is a fun look. It's not just patriotic. It's really more about summer, and a vintage George Briard ice bucket for $50 in great condition. A well-known designer of that era. One thing I love about vintage glassware is that it reflects the era in which it was made. We see lots of patriotic pieces with this collection. After World War II, we saw Americans entertaining at home more, also with an Americana theme. These red, white, and blue striped glasses are from Anchor Hocking. We turn it over and look at the back stamp. We see the anchor. These are interesting. It's a crisscross cut crystal, along with the screen printed decal. Those are more sophisticated. Cocktail shakers. They became popular after the repeal of Prohibition in 1933 and have remained a symbol of entertaining throughout the mid-century. On the rocks. So many great choices here, and it's not all about serving from the bar. These would be great for your dinner service as well. They have lots of whimsical finds. I'm loving this blue. We'll have to take a closer look at this, and I'll tell you more about the style and manufacturer. The Anchor Hocking pagoda pattern is also known as bark or bamboo. It launched in the 1960s. Which was a time when Anchor Hocking was the largest producer of glassware in the tabletop industry worldwide. This would be a nice addition to your setting and entertaining. Not the traditional red, white, and blue. Here we have red paired with a turquoise and gold. It's an interesting shape. I can see a dessert in this. Priced at $48 for a set of 4. And now we will venture into the world of everything Western and Texan. And this might surprise you. It's not a bit of decor for your home, although that would work as well. This is actually a bottle opener with a Ralph Lauren vibe, anything equestrian, priced at $50 and worth every penny. Quite the unusual find. You know you're in Texas when you find drinkware with oil wells. Many of these were custom made for companies. A set of 4. Loving that gold rim. I'm sure these have been present at many parties and great conversation. I can see these for a luncheon, not just for the bar. And we saw a logo there. With that grid. They are from Anchor Hocking, the topaz grid glasses from the 1970s. They have a square shape, priced at $42 for the set. I like the mix of those two colors as well. These are fancy with the gold. They look like Culver. Perfect on that mirrored base. And we also find oil derrick salt and pepper shakers for $16. That would be something fun to add to your table. A bit of whimsy is always a good idea. These, let's have a closer look. Those are fabulous. Vintage Hurd and Irvin. made for a company, I'm sure. Perhaps those were sent out as gifts. Being a sixth-generation Texan, I am drawn to this collection. We see the oil boom represented, celebrating Texas industry and prosperity. All of these pieces are functional today and also represent a bit of Texas history. With mid-century entertaining, ashtrays were a must for hosting your guests. This was made in a ceramic studio. I'm thinking this would be a nice decorative element, but it's actually an ashtray, priced at $52. If we turn it over and look for that back stamp, we see that it is from Stengel Pottery, the Grenada Gold. This iconic New Jersey ceramics company was in operation until 1978. More Texas-themed ashtrays, perhaps for cigars as well, priced at $30. That's a fun piece. And nesting here, you may recognize the anchor hocking Sereno pattern, priced as a set for $80. And now we will raise the bar and go upstairs to see more mid-century entertaining essentials. Now let's head upstairs to Baker's Barware and their main booth, where colorful glasses, entertaining accessories, and vintage game night essentials take center stage. A bird's eye view of this wonderful antique mall. There is so much to discover, and I'm glad that I've taken you along over the years. And now we can focus on these mid-century finds. I'm loving this. You can set many different themes and styles for your entertaining. And a pop of color. There is a lot to discover here. We will delve into some of these patterns and manufacturers to better understand this era, and some unusual finds as well. And you can even entertain poolside with some acrylic glasses. We're stepping back into the mid-century and seeing the world in Technicolor. They have the largest selection of vintage entertaining essentials, from colorful glassware to ice buckets, trays, playing cards, and bar accessories. I am drawn to these glasses with the blue and green. It's almost like a sugared surface there. We'll have to discover the manufacturer and learn more about these wonderful additions to your table, priced at $60. We're barely in the booth, and I've already found my favorite. This is the Deep Sea from the Libby Glass Company. It was made in the 1970s. I'm loving the texture, and blue and green are my favorite colors. One way to identify Libby is the cursive L that you will find on the bottom of the glasses. An interesting history with Libby. They got their start as the New England Glass Company in 1818 under the leadership of Edward Drummond Libby. They later moved to Toledo, Ohio for the abundant gas supply and sand deposits, both essential for glass making. We can belly up to the tiki bar. They have all the essentials here. And I can see iced tea in these glasses. The possibilities are endless, and I like that it's not such a bright color. This would go with many different dish patterns. Libby also made these Arctica highballs. They were made in a variety of colors, including olive, tawny, which is more of a smoke color, and clear. You will see the brutalist design, geometric pattern, and concave shape. These are more of a tiki style and would be fun for entertaining. They were made from 1971 to 1974. We have found the Chanel of mid-century glasses. This has a very modern look to it, with a classic black and white that pairs well with most any look. And you might be surprised, these are from Libby at $32 for the set. Wait for it, they are half price. $16, that would be $4 each. I'm loving these. Does this remind you of a swung vase? That is also a mid-century gem. And it'd be a nice addition to your coffee table or your bar cart. My daughter Elizabeth would absolutely love these mushroom glasses. Wish I could carry these to Germany for her. Price at $60, and they're from Libby. Tiptoe through the tulips with these juice glasses. I was in the Netherlands recently and saw fields of tulips. That would be sweet for the breakfast table. Priced at $20 for the set. And the beautiful blue. Can't get enough of this Madrid pattern. That's a classic mid-century look. Anchor Hocking is a famous American glassmaker with massive production in the 1940s and 50s. It was common to find Anchor Hocking in homes, and that's why we feel a bit of nostalgia when we see these patterns. This Madrid pattern launched in 1971, my birth year, and I'm loving the blue. Speaking of iced tea, these are absolutely the tallest tumblers I've seen in mid-century. Long Island iced tea, a malt, priced at $46 for the set of 4 from Fostoria in the Congo pattern. And there's some ice buckets we'll see later that would be a great addition. Aloha, loving the pink and green, my favorite party colors for a tropical get-together. $44 for a set of 4. And they are having a sale in this booth. And I love the hibiscus design. A color explosion. This reminds me of the atomic era influence we see in the mid-century. And you'll notice they're different colors. $42 for the set of 6 and that starburst pattern. Love the dots, the chain design, and golden butterflies from George Briard. These are perfection. And let's look at the blue and white. I'm always drawn to this. It's a good size too. And I like that they pair ice buckets with glasses, even if they're not originally sold as sets. A bit dotty, loving all of these colors. Makes for a happy look on your table from Federal Glass, set of 8 for $68. I like the purple glasses. And the Greek key, which we often see in chinoiserie, known as the meandering pattern that predates the Greek key. These are classic from Culver, priced at $100 for a set of 8. Culver is known for their 22-karat gold decoration on glassware. They were founded in Brooklyn, New York in 1939, just in time to start the mid-century craze with barware. If you see a glass that is gold and heavily decorated, chances are it's from Culver. Step back into the 80s and elevate your bar cart with these Culver glasses. I like the movement here of the design. The black, brown, and gold. These are from Culver. Priced at $48 for the set of 4 in the copper tone swirl pattern. And there's the logo. Most Culver pieces, you will see it incorporated into the design or the edge of the glass. And this peach ice bucket with a lucite lid, loving it. Priced at $50, the cream and grass ice bucket from George Briard. We will see quite a few pieces from this prolific designer. And there's so many uses for ice buckets. It's the perfect pairing with the Culver copper tone glasses. That swirl still has the 22-karat decorated gold. This George Briard ice bucket is taking us into the 1980s with a hint of peach. Let's take a walk on the wild side with this safari ice bucket. It is tall, it has faux leather handles, in perfect condition, priced at $68. I can see this safari ice bucket as a centerpiece. Many different ways to utilize this. You'll notice that handle, easy to grab. We see this in many mid-century ice buckets. You always want to look for condition. And it's clean, well cared for. And I'm loving the neutral colors. Works well with many different directions with your style. Ice buckets became a staple in home entertaining in the 1950s and 60s. They were meant to be seen and enjoyed when entertaining. It reflects the rise of the home cocktail culture. We find these today in brass, chrome, colorful plastics, and acrylic. This is from George Briard in the Southwest pattern. If you look carefully just outside of the design, you will see the George Briard signature. Most of his pieces are signed, and many of his products were carried by Neiman Marcus back in the day. I'm loving the design, the simplicity of this, and the neutral color. Let's have a closer look. There are many alternate uses for vintage ice buckets. I like that this is neutral and a pleasant design. We have one that we found at the Y Station last year at the fall show in the Round Top area, and I thought it was the cookie jar from my childhood that my grandmother had. I was surprised to find out it's actually an ice bucket. Of course, I had to have that. We have it on our kitchen counter to stow away medicine. You can also put a plastic liner here, use it as a vase or a fun centerpiece, and it is insulated. How about some hot breadsticks? Many ways to enjoy these. Stargazer lilies. This reminds me of the early 1980s from Taste Setter, priced at $52. You will notice a lighter, airy look with the lucite handles and lid. This one is another George Briard find in the blue and white and yellow. The Monet Museum design, priced at $52, with an easy-to-grab lid, wooden handle. Yet another look. Ice buckets have evolved over time. This is one of my favorites. With the tulips, what's not to love about this? It's a happy look, perfect for outdoor entertaining, priced at $48. A coastal look with the blue waves. And this one is definitely 1980s. I'm loving this butterfly ice bucket. It's a taste of happy that would bring joy to your entertaining. We're seeing a lot of the brighter colors as we step into the 1980s and the 90s. We didn't see quite as much of this in the mid-century. Very modern style. And this one happens to match the ice bucket. For poolside entertaining, you want to find acrylic or lucite glassware. And the matching ice bucket. No glass by the pool, that is the rule. And it even has the maker's mark. Izod, or Lacoste, as they say in Europe. A set of 6. This is something we don't see often. The 1980s had a wider palette of bright and crazy colors. We also saw pastels in that era. And if you're looking for some poolside drinkware, you want to look for plastics or acrylics. This is made by Stoddard. They got their start in New Jersey, and they're quite prevalent in the 1950s and 60s. And this looks to be the 1980s with the cherry on top. Another entertaining essential for the mid-century, a pottery ashtray. This is made in Italy, and it has the original tag from the department store, priced at $40. Ashtrays were once a standard entertaining accessory. Today we can upcycle these, use it as a trinket dish, jewelry holder, place a pillar candle inside, even on your bar cart for lemons and limes. We also find some that are works of art. I was lucky enough to find my Velour and Boch Burgenland pattern recently when I was thrifting in France, and I use it to hold a jar of jelly on my breakfast table. We can also rest the spoon inside. You never know what you'll find that can be purposeful. Ashtrays can also be artistic. Look at all the grooves they have here. To me, that's more of a decorative object. It would be a nice addition to your space, priced at $36. Newcastle Brown Ale, this would have been from a pub. Seagram's, it could even be a wine coaster. And this one, wait for it, it is from Blinko, priced at $12, and I'm sure that was made in many colors. Beck's Bier, this is from Germany, and that definitely came from a restaurant or pub. It's priced at 18, made in Germany. We don't see as many of these because you're not allowed to smoke in restaurants. The Golden Anchor Inn. Interesting. La Quinta. We see lots of matchbooks and ashtrays that were made with logos in the mid-century. That's priced at 12. From Harrah's Casino. The Golden Zither in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And this one's quite interesting. Baumholder, Germany, Getränke Frank. Price is 66, complete with a telephone number. An interesting find with this ashtray from Germany. It was a promotional item geared towards the U.S. military families. Getränke Frank, which was a drink delivery service in Baumholder, Germany. You'll notice that is written in English. And here they say home service, which is a way of saying delivery, with their phone number to call, sofort durch Funk, which is a bit confusing because that means immediately through the radio. Perhaps there was another way that they communicated. Quite an interesting ashtray. Every company had their logo on an ashtray. H&R Block, a Motor Inn, Foster Wheeler. There's a lot riding on your tires, as they say. Quite an interesting one from B.F. Goodrich and Goodyear. I've never seen these. Quite creative. Priced at 20. You never know what you will find here. Another example of something rather artistic. We've seen some of these at the Y Station in Carmine during the Round Top show. Priced at 54. Parkbräu, that was a brewery. Wähle, it means choose, to choose that brand. Serving trays, one of my favorite tabletop essentials. And we have some great examples here, including one made from a very well-known mid-century glassmaker, Culver. Serving trays were essential for cocktail parties and everyday entertaining. They have quite a few interesting ones here. And when you see that decorated gold, do you think of Culver? This is a great example of Culver with tableware. It wasn't all about the barware. This is full of colors we would have seen in the mid-century. Orange was a favorite. We have a touch of avocado as well, and some pink with the rattan handles. We also see lots of rattan drinkware where you place the glass inside. Such fun. I like this one for its simplicity. Let's turn it over. It's from West Bend. And this takes me back not too many years ago that we saw many of these from Hallmark stores, Santa and Mrs. Claus. I like the wreath. Add some holiday nostalgia to your coffee tea bar, home entertaining, or gifting. This is originally from the Hallmark store with a price of $3. It is $24 in the booth. I love the design. It takes us back to those wonderful days of childhood. I had two similar trays that I used as packaging. For my bosses at Waterford Crystal, I added my mother's homemade hot chocolate mix, fudge, and homemade cookies, and I wrapped it in cello with a ribbon, flew with both of these trays in the overhead bin, gifted them to my bosses, and they did give me Waterford Crystal in return. So I guess it was a great gift. A Wilton Armitage bottle coaster and an elegant mid-century serving tray, priced at $30. And it has a metal caddy. We also saw these caddies with drinkware. This faux tortoiseshell tray is absolutely incredible. I love everything about it. And I can see this even on your coffee table, not just for your barware. Price at $30. This faux tortoiseshell tray is a deal at $30. So many ways that we could use this tray. I may take this home and bring it over to Germany. I did a quick search online and I did find one for $78. That's about half the size. Of course, this has the mid-century styling. Absolutely loving this, and the possibilities are endless. Do you remember these playing cards? Every company and airline had them. National Airlines, not familiar with them, priced at $10. Union Texas Petroleum. No surprise, being from a big oil area, Jim Beam. And Princess Cruise Line. I wonder if all the passengers got a deck of cards. Hertz Rent a Card instead of rent a car. Love it. That is quite clever. $18 for the double deck. Countries represented. They, we, Greyhound Bus Company. This reminds me of the 70s. Let's see what else we can find here. The flower design, very familiar, and a touch of Ireland here. Many of these were given as hostess gifts. What I love about these sets is they're a reminder that entertaining wasn't always centered around the television. Friends gathered around the card table, enjoyed refreshments, and spent an evening together. And these card sets were part of that tradition. And how about this? We find chinoiserie. A double deck of cards was considered more practical and elegant, and you needed it for games like bridge. This was a staple in many homes, and it often reflected the mid-century style with motifs such as Asian-inspired. We often find floral and also a tropical theme with these seashells. My mother had similar ones that she bought at the Hallmark store. Swizzle sticks are also a fun addition for your coffee tea bar. And the candy canes would be an inexpensive way to dress up your bar cart for the holidays. Tabasco glasses, the pandas, that's something I've not seen. Quite fun. Trays, cocktail shakers, and this confetti pitcher, perfect for entertaining. Tea towels are a nice addition to your kitchen or bar cart. Scottish home baking is perfect for my friend Carol, my map partner with Thrift Guides. She loves everything with Scotland. Bourgogne, Dijon, lots of landmarks, towns, always something wonderful to discover here. Vintage barware isn't just about the cocktails. It's about hospitality, gathering with friends, and bringing a little more style to everyday moments. These finds can be just as relevant today as they were in the mid-century. Thanks again for joining Lady Mary Beth. Elevate your everyday with vintage barware.